Hello? Can you hear me now? I tried changing one thing. I don't know if it did anything. Raymond, can you hear me now? That is so weird. I just turned the thing off and on. I see the audio levels. I don't know what to tell you. That's why Windows is the worst operating system you could ever have. Because it's terrible. Well, at least good. That's because my audio level I think is a little too hot. Can you hear me now? Testing 1 2 3. Testing testing. Testing 1 2 3. Because the shotgun mic is pretty good. It picks up pretty much what's just in front here. The air conditioner's on in the background, and I don't think it's picking it up. Or enough for you guys to hear, because it's very low levels coming in from the background audio. Okay. Now, let's begin. So, we have high pressure off into the Great Lakes there. That's going to be coming in soon. But our main frontal system, we got a couple of fronts here. We got a front coming up down here. That is what's coming through right now. So when we take a look a little bit closer into the tri-state region, there's still quite a bit in there. And this is the national radar, and what I like with this new setup, my monitor here is just what you guys are seeing for the background. So let me switch over here, and here are all of our severe thunderstorm warnings. Lots and lots in Jersey here. Flash flood warning, severe thunderstorm warning. Let me see if I can pull this side. I'll pull this up here. Let's see. Producing wind damage. We're located along a line extending Dayton to near Burlington, moving east at 20 miles per hour. 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Look at that line right there. Radar indicated. Damage to roofs, sidings, trees, power lines is possible. So that's coming in. And Raymond, I don't know if that's an official term, but there we go. I don't know if that's an official term, but it kind of is, or it's a weak high pressure, just because it is a high pressure, but it's not strong enough to really give completely clear conditions. So the dirty high pressure, weak high pressure, kind of in that same boat. And what we can see, we kind of see this severe thunderstorm line that's extending all this way. That's all the front right there, all with the severe thunderstorms. That's what we're going to be experiencing for the rest of today. Now I want to see if we get a little bit closer in here what some of these echo heights are going to be. And good, you can see that around me. Enhanced echo tops. What we got right here? Oh, we're getting 50,000. So that yellow, or dark yellow, 50,000 foot echo tops. Do we have any rotation? Well, there's shear, but not really. I don't know if there's enough for rotation. It's right here. right there, that is the radar site. And these splotches that we're kind of seeing right there, that's all little bits of shear. And Raymond, yes, that is true. I wasn't sure. Okay, so is that what you mean by dirty? I don't know if that's an actual term, a dirty eye pressure. Let's see. Nope, don't want that. Come on. There we go. So we got that slight risk for a lot of the area right through there. I actually had somebody on Twitter ask me because the Mets game was at 1 o'clock, so it's probably over by now. But the Mets game was at 1. He was asking, are these storms going to be affecting it? And I was like, no, because they're really not coming this way. And we still got quite a bit of some slight risks there, marginal risks. This area we talked about yesterday, that is still kind of in that slow area. So this is not really moving. It's training through. So, also, I forgot when. Oh, Hurricane Barry. When I was covering Hurricane Barry, I started at that point filming an explainer about what storm surge is. So I'm finishing that up. Hopefully it'll be finished with that today, and that'll be coming out soon for what storm surge is, how it's calculated, why water is so dangerous. All right, let's read some of this. Strong to locally severe thunderstorms capable. I have a light kind of right in my way. The light is actually right there. There we go. I may go a little bit out of focus now. Strong to locally severe thunderstorms capable of producing both wind damage and hail will be possible. Let's see. Let's see what the categorical is. I don't think this is not a tornadic type of event. Yeah. Even though 2% is not nothing, that 2% is very, very low. So I really don't think we're going to be seeing anything in terms of tornadic activity. Same thing in the Midwest and middle part there. Yeah, it's very low, but it's not really set up for tornadic activity. That's why when I went back to here with the wind shear, I was curious because I knew it was around there, but there's just not really enough. We do see, so again, the radar station is that little black dot right there. And we have these little splotches of shear going on. Oh, what do we got? Good, no viruses found. Thank you for showing me. So that's little splotches of some shear. So it is out there. I'm afraid, I actually don't know with this camera right now if because the side monitor turns off, that means it's about to turn off the whole thing. If it does, that means we'll lose audio and we'll lose video, but you'll still have the background. Also, I gotta keep an eye on this because I did not set up the battery for the camera. So, or set up a power line into the camera. So this is all on battery right now. Yeah, so all of that is shear. Severe thunderstorm warning. I think there's another one. Yeah, there's another severe thunderstorm warning in there. Severe thunderstorm warning here. Philadelphia. That's within a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me switch back to reflectivity. And we're kind of seeing right there that line coming through. That is a pretty intense line. Lots of rain. I think there is a way I can see digital storm total. There's 1 hour and storm total. So the highest looks like right here. Right in the middle there, that little bit of yellow. And if we look down below here, that greenish yellow, is that it? Oh, it's on the other side, behind me. So there's the yellow. That's matching that point right there. So I'm going to move the mouse right here and see what that is. That's 3 to 4 inches of rain. So since this started, 3 to 4 inches of rain right there. Let me see if I could put up 1 hour. So it looks like still in these darker areas, the darker greens, that's kind of getting into there and a little bit into the yellower side, which is right about there. So if I move the mouse right about there, we are seeing just about half an inch of rain per hour. Imagine that. That would be almost 6 inches of rain of snow per hour, equivalent, or 5 inches. That's a lot to fall down. I'm recording, right? Yes. Streaming and recording. We're good. Ah, interesting. I'll have to look up that dirty high. A random SD card in my pocket. I'll have to see which one. I see which one that is. I will leave that on the side for right now. So you got damage, I see, 1:40. I'm assuming that's the time, 1:40 p.m. Okay. So now, Raymond, what we were kind of talking about yesterday is what we're going to talk about today. This is, let me pop that back on. There we go. This is going to be about the short term. So we're going to use the HRRR 1 kilometer resolution. We're going to look at the 3 kilometer NAM. So let me pop those up. Let's go to the good old tropical tidbits. And nope, no GFS. We're going to start the smallest and go a little bit bigger. HRRR, got to back up to 18Z. Switch this to the northeast view. So starting with the initial frame at 18Z, we can see there's a little bit of some cells starting. And that's kind of what that person from Twitter was saying. These here, this is what they were seeing as possibly making it for the Yankee game. That one was just making its way through. It really didn't pop up with anything too bad at that moment, and kind of in line. The HRRR, it kind of initialized fairly well. So let's go through here. And right here at this time, which is right there, 22Z. And this is where we're seeing quite a bit of some activity starting, which is kind of what we're seeing right now. So we're seeing what this forecast model is starting. It's initializing fairly well. So let's take a look at when this is all going to go. So we're at 0Z Thursday, which is 8 p.m. Still going. There's still more cells coming through New York City, Long Island there. And it kind of looks like the back end. This kind of looks like the main front right here. That looks like all the main front. And then there's this trailing little piece right back there. I think that is one last piece, but let's see if this is probably going to start dying off into the overnight. This is 2 a.m. And yeah, it does start dying off. And then going into tomorrow. So remember I was saying tomorrow morning there was a possibility of some stuff, but wow, that's interesting. I think I need to change the aperture a little bit because here I was a little bit too out of focus. But right back here, so clear, and this is 9 a.m. tomorrow. And here comes some more, not a lot. This is kind of a thin little line here. And kind of more like popcorn. It's not exactly one straight line. Maybe in Massachusetts there, that's showing one of the heaviest there. And Raymond, when you said that, I kind of got that point with the dirty highs. It's a high pressure that gives precipitation. I think I need to shave. And this is as far out as this goes, which actually you could see right behind me there. It's not finished. Those grayed out areas, those grayed out times, that's actually the model run not finished running. They're unavailable. So that's the HRRR. I'm going to rewind this, and we're now going to go to the 3 kilometer NAM, and let's see how this does. Okay. So this is 19Z. That's right up here. That started at 19Z. And it did start seeing this. I think it actually started about that time. So that was good. And it's pretty much on track. So right now, let me go back. So that's 8 p.m., 7, 6, 5. So that's 5 p.m. So let's see, let's compare the 5 p.m. time frame, what we're looking at right there, on the actual radar. Just let me refresh this. And this, right there, that's actually what we're seeing. So it looks like kind of the same. This has filled in a little bit more, it looks like. There's one blob kind of right there. There's another blob a little bit down there. And let's see. Kind of that little thing. We have a little blob area there, a little bit more right down there, but not in the exact same positions. It's just a little bit more delayed on one of them. So it's not terrible, a 3 kilometer NAM for this. So let's see what happens when we keep going. This is 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Still, Long Island, it's showing that there's still going to be some showers there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 a.m. there. Clear start. Let me just pop this. There we go. So a clear start to the day, and most of this is pushing its way out, it looks like. Okay, so that's out. And now, from the west, we're going to see our next little bit coming in here. And it just wasn't a lot. There's probably some sort of marine layer effect going on in here that is causing this to die. So if we see that line, as it approaches the coast, this marine layer influence from the Atlantic is kind of causing it to die out. And then it stays fairly clear, except up near those Finger Lakes areas there. What time was that? That's actually going Friday night into Saturday. And that is the next high, 10-15 millibars coming through. So that's the 3 kilometer NAM. I'm going to go out a little bit more to the 12 kilometer NAM. And this is going to finish through Saturday. Saturday. So Raymond, up by you, you may be seeing a bit more rain than the tri-state region, but still, look at these isobars there. If you follow those isobars, they kind of get close together, and as they get close together, that's that increased pressure gradient. So it looks like it may actually be kind of windy, and that's what we're going to be seeing for Saturday. I don't think this is going to go out through Sunday. This ends 2 a.m. Sunday with that high still making its way in. So now I'm going to switch to the Icon model. The Icon's just not done yet. Let me back up to the 12Z. Restart this. Okay. Down a little more. Alright. So this, it kind of picked up on that. And remember, what we're looking at here, this is different than the last two forecast models. The last two forecast models were showing a simulated radar. This is not a simulated radar. This is average precipitation rate, millimeters per hour. Does that show 3 hour? There we go. Right up there. I can't see with that light in the way. So at the very top there, 3 hour average precipitation rate. So it's not simulated radar. This is not radar. So in a 3 hour window, say in the yellow right there, what is the yellow saying? That's the 4-inch mark. Right there. So we got 4 inches mark for anywhere that's in these yellows, those little blobs right there of yellow. And Raymond, you are correct that 2% is high for this time of the year because we're not really in that peak. It's not really a tornado season, but it's not. This is more the hurricane season. However, we're not really in that time of the year where we would see a lot of tornadic activity, like last year when we saw the May 15th tornado outbreak. Hello, Delvin. Thank you for joining. So, Delvin, we worked through, Raymond and I worked through some audio issues I was having before. So I think all the audio should be fine. I have that mic, that shotgun kind of like overhead mic coming right in at me. There was something weird going on with OBS, so it wasn't outputting the audio. It was capturing it, like I was able to see the levels on the mixer, but it wasn't outputting anything. Thank you. Great audio. And I love this mic. It's a Sennheiser MKE 600. From the news station, one of the audio ops, he actually suggested this one. And I love it. It sounds good. It sounds clear. I actually have the air conditioning on directly behind the microphone. It's probably about 5 feet, 6 feet away from the behind of the microphone, the back side of the microphone, and it looks pretty good. The only thing I have to do next time is with the camera settings. So the aperture. The aperture is measured in like an f-stop. I have this set to f4, and I have it set for focus. So focus right now, it's perfectly in focus when I'm at this point, but if I step back here, I'm ever so slightly out of focus at the moment. So it's being ever so slightly out of focus. There's a slight difference you could see, like in the beard hair on my that's coming out in the 5 o'clock shadow. There to there. There's an ever so slight focus change. So I have to change that aperture. The higher the f-stop number, the smaller the actual size of the iris, which is the opening. The smaller the aperture opening, the iris opening. This is the news station. We talk about iris up, iris down. When you make that iris smaller, the aperture, making that smaller, and the f-stop number gets bigger, you have a deeper depth of field. We have shallow depth of field and deep or wide depth of field. The deeper the depth of field, that means the bigger the area of focus is. So I would be able to stand back here and be in focus if I take that f4 and maybe make it f8. I have enough light to change that. I'm not going to change it live on air right now because as long as I'm here, right by the computer terminal, it's fine. So I think this is working out pretty well. Okay, so now we're going back to the other thing I have to figure out is if the side monitor that's on the camera itself, that Canon camera, when that goes out, I don't know if that means it's about to put the camera to sleep, because if that goes to sleep, that means video and audio will be cut, but you'll still see the background behind me. Okay. So here, let's continue. So this is through today, going into tomorrow, and again, this is the icon. So tomorrow morning, there still may be some showers. So that's 2 a.m. right here. Especially Connecticut, Eastern Long Island, those Twin Forks there. Maybe seeing still some rain going through even the morning. There's to be this clearing. This is what we mentioned, or what I mentioned yesterday on the Games and Storms live stream. This gap is then followed by a chance of a shower with this. So right back here, that line, that looks like it's falling apart a little bit now. And then going into Friday, here's Friday. It just looks still windy. These isobars there, they're still getting close together. Any precipitation kind of stays south right through there, south of New Jersey. Going into Saturday, it looks clear for the tri-state region, but still breezy with those isobars. And now we're having another situation here called warm air advection. This is where we're looking at these red dotted lines and the isobars. So look right there. They're perpendicular. That means there's strong warm air advection happening. And that's going to be the case. It's going to be a warm weekend. But it looks like, for the most part here, it looks like it's going to be a clear weekend. At the end of this, while we're still live streaming, which I'm only going to go a little bit more, I'm going to do a test with camera settings. But I want to just finish right now, and I want to see what you guys think, because I want to be able to walk around a little bit more. The other thing too, I'm not using the lens that I want to use. This is a 35 millimeter lens. I wanted something a little bit wider. That's why I'm mostly just like chest up. The 24 millimeter to 105 millimeter that I have with this camera, that I have a friend that's borrowing right now. So when he gets that back, when he's finished, I'm going to take that back, and that's the main one I'm going to use with this setup. So Saturday looks good. There's Sunday. There's that high 1019 millibars. Going into Monday here, there we go. We got some showers coming through. It does get really breezy here. And Raymond, yes, with this weather stuff, no political chat. The climate change chat, I try and avoid the politics, but politics are part of climate change. And I'm still trying to find time to record this video with my friend Jean Marie about this new Green Deal, which I'm still trying to stay in the dark with it. I have not read anything about it, but she has. I want to see what my research has been with climate research compared to what's in this bill. I think it's a bill. I'm not too familiar with the policy. But I usually try and avoid that. The only thing, and it was fine yesterday, Raymond, just because of what happened. And with video games aren't the root of the issue. And and the U.S. has the most mass shootings of any country, but the video games that are in the U.S. are not just the U.S. They're everywhere. PlayStations are everywhere. Gaming computers, Xbox, Nintendo Switch. These consoles they're at the entire world. It's not the issue. Anyway, back to this. Windy. We still have quite a big pressure gradient here. And that was Monday. But Monday morning there was a little shower chance on this, which is the icon. Going into Tuesday. Still went, wow. This pressure gradient is staying with us for quite a while. There's another high, 1020 millibars right there. And this is now going into just Wednesday. And that's the end of the icon is Wednesday night. So maybe some shower action from the icon here Monday morning. But then Tuesday looks fine and Wednesday look fine. Now the last one I'm going to show before I wrap up the stream is going to be the GFS. Let's rewind that. Actually, let's make sure it's all there. There we go. So for today, it's still picking that up. It's kind of picking up those two bigger areas. One in southern Jersey, one that's moving through, and that is 0Z, which is 8 p.m., so that kind of falls in line. This stays with us through tomorrow morning. Now, this is showing interesting, some little spotty showers in that little gap. Actually, that kind of looks like the shape of Maine. Look at that state, and look at the shape. Doesn't it kind of look the same? Ah. Okay, so later in the day, Thursday, this is kind of showing the same thing. So this is what I'm thinking is happening, what these forecast models are picking up. The Atlantic Ocean here is this marine layer influence is affecting any of that precipitation, and by the time it makes its way closer to the coast, closer to the Atlantic Ocean, it just starts dying away. So then Friday still looks breezy with those isobars, but still there's some showers there. Then going into Saturday. Saturday was still showing those showers up near the Finger Lakes level, but for the tri-state region, it's really not doing anything different than what was before, and it's still showing not as strong, but still that warm air advection with those not parallel lines. As long as those lines aren't parallel, that means there's some sort of warm or cold air advection. In this case, it's warm air advection. Then going into Sunday, the high kind of moves over, so it's less windy. And now this is again Monday morning, so kind of like we were seeing before, showers for Monday morning. This actually lasts through the day. And then going into Tuesday looks like a fine day. And this is where, Raymond, I know we were talking about this, the broken GFS. It's the same thing, same exact situation, same setup as we had yesterday in the Games and Storms live stream. So here's 18Z Wednesday, next week. That is a lot of rain. And this seems to be the problem with the GFS. It's over-exaggerating everything. So now I'm going to keep that same time, and what I'm going to do is switch to the icon model. So 18Z, wrong model run. There we go, 18Z Wednesday. Like, it's totally different. What is it thinking? And Raymond, yes, I have seen the people putting winter outlook forecasts. I'm gonna wait, give it another couple of months. I still have other videos I want to try and get up. So I'm going to try and focus on finishing those. I actually am going to have a review. I have the Canon review. I'm going to have a follow-up, which is going to be like a 1 year with the camera follow-up, a year-long review. This specific lens, the RF 35mm from Canon, and the RF 24-105, the one I lent to my friend, Stanley. I'm going to have a review on that specifically. And then I don't have it here right now, but the Tamron, there's another that's a 70-200, it's a specific portrait lens. I'm going to have a review on that. I'm going to have a review for all of my lenses. GFS is the new Canadian. That is funny, Raymond. I like that. But anyway, this is going to be a toss-up at the moment for these between the GFS and the Icon. The only thing I want to try, let's see if I can do this. Will this go? Okay, there we go. Remove the background for a second. I just want to take a peek at the Euro. Obviously, I can't show it. That's why I blacked out the background. And this is how I'm going to end it. Oh, and then I want to try that little test with you guys. So let's take a peek at the Euro. So yeah, it was kind of on the same line of the GFS initially, which wasn't terrible. Specifically, I want to see what it's doing for Wednesday. Wednesday, it's similar to the GFS. Interesting. Now, the blob, I like calling them blobs, but the blob of precipitation is more east on the Euro. It's from, say, Suffolk County, Long Island, which is eastern Long Island, through Boston. And the bulk of the precipitation is out in the Atlantic. That's what the Euro is showing. And then, let's see what the RPM. And then that's going to be the last little bit for this stream. And then I want to do that test before I end it. RPM, which is the Futurecast. Come on. There we go. 12 kilometer RPM. This goes out 72 hours. Just want to take a quick peek at that. And I want to do the forecast radar satellite. It's not going to go out till next week, unfortunately, but I just want to see the next couple of days on this. What's today? 7th. So this is Friday. Yeah, Friday, it's scattered. There's like one little spot there, shower here, shower there. Saturday looks completely clear, except again near Albany. And that was as far out as it went. Okay. So let me take these down. I'm going to bring back up the radar. Where's the mouse? There's the mouse. And there's the chroma key. All right. So now, I'm going to do a test. So we talked about, I mentioned this before, if I step too far out, see how I'm now a little bit blurrier? This is just like half a step I'm doing. So what this is going to do, we're going to change the aperture, and we have to change the ISO. I need to keep the shutter speed exactly, because that's supposed to be double your frame rate. I'm shooting at 30 FPS, so that needs to be a 1/60th of a second for the shutter speed. That has to stay. So when I double, or I reduce the amount of light coming in by closing down the aperture by half, I have to double the ISO. So I'm going to do that right now. If you can still hear me, yes, you can still hear me. So I'm changing. See, it's getting darker. Oh, you can't see. Oh, yeah, you can kind of see a little bit at the bottom there. That's the green. Here, so now this is at f8. So now you can see it really got dark. Now the ISO is at 1250. I have to take this and double it. So this is going to be 2,500 for the ISO. Still a little bit too dark. Let me just up it one more. 3,200 for the ISO. And that looked like it got rid of all the fuzzies. So now I'm at f8. That looks just a little bit more light I need. Let's try this. So I'm still in focus right now. I step here. I'm still pretty much in focus. Okay, now I know what I need to do. So I can walk through here and still stay pretty much in focus. I need this to be f8. Okay, so there's the test. My settings, I'm going to keep this as a reference. f8 right now, 3200 for the ISO, 160 shutter speed. And I know I set my white balance to 4000, I believe. I'll have to check that. Let me see here. 3600. So my white balance is 3600 Kelvin. And yes, temperature stuff. With cameras, white balance is measured in Kelvin. The actual history with that is because it has to deal with essentially charcoal. The temperature, the color of the charcoal. So when this charcoal reaches 3600 Kelvin, what's the red level of that? If I take that and heat it up to 7000 Kelvin, it's going to be whiter. Whiter, not wider. If I go even higher, it's going to turn from warm red to yellows to whites to then more bluish. It's going to get like bluish hot, bluish white hot. That's how the Kelvin scale works with white balance with cameras. The more you know. Any active warnings? That'll be the last thing before I end the stream. So let's go back here. Not near Albany, but here. There. Let me get Albany in the picture. There's Albany. And here is a severe thunderstorm warning. At 5:21, just a couple minutes ago, kind of the same things we were seeing here. So it is 5:21 p.m. Hazard 60 mile per hour winds, penny-sized hail, and I know at the bottom I think it gave the conversion. There we go. So hail, 0.75 inches. So I know 1 inch hail was considered quarter-sized hail. Wind 60 miles per hour. So there's the only warning that's up near Albany. Okay. Wrong camera. I keep doing the wrong setting. There we go. All right. So that pretty much wraps up this live stream. I think it went fairly well, except in the beginning it was a little weird with the audio. I couldn't figure out why. Thank you for joining. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to my Full Throttle Thursday video for tomorrow, but definitely expect my weekend outlook forecast on Friday. I don't plan on falling again, so I'll be able to get that video out for you guys. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below and that little bell icon so you get notified whenever I go live like this or I upload a video. So, in terms of videos, the next one I'm working on that you should see, it's called an explainer. So this explainer is going to be storm surge. What is storm surge? How is it measured? And why is water so dangerous? So as soon as I'm done with the stream, I'm going to have dinner and I'm going to keep working on that. So that should be out probably by next week for you guys. Then I'm going to have more camera reviews, not necessarily the camera itself, but the lenses, this RF35, the RF24-105, then the Tamron EF 70-200 G2. Got a lot coming out for you guys with a whole bunch of different topics. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video.